Alrighty. Hopefully everybody's doing good today. Gonna play a little bit of Edith Finch. I'm gonna start a new game in a second. I've already played the game before, so this is not my first time playing. I probably should have put a tag in there saying that, but I forgot. I like put tags and I was like, what do I do? I completely forgot. So I started a new game so that when I go to this screen, you guys can't see everybody's pictures, as I didn't want it to be where I spoiled anything for anybody who has not played it yet. So I'm gonna start in a second. I believe I played it last time with the controller. Whoop. Unless I'm going crazy, I can't remember. Okay, yeah, I did play with the controller last time. Alright. I will also try my best to not speak too much on top of when she's speaking. Because, you know, it's all about immersion. Let me just make sure anybody who wanted to see this is going to be here, or else I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get going with it. Yeah, my day though was pretty regular, just a bunch of errands. I think I ended up taking a nap again. Just like the other day, I didn't get anything done yesterday because I was so tired from errands. It was just like I was going crazy. I finished like running all the errands with my mom, and I just came home and like took a nap, and I couldn't sleep because of it. And I'm too lazy to go all the way in our basement to get more water. So I'm just like trying to finish up every bottle of water that I can find in my room that I never finished. Alright. I'm gonna just make sure my graphics still are set on the right thing. Yeah, they are. Cool. Alright. Sam! Hey! To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of the person I was waiting on. Because I think I had a feeling you wanted to see this game, so I was like, let me make sure that he's gonna be here, so that he can see the whole thing. He can see the full story. So, like I said before, I'm gonna try my best to not talk over everything. So, you know, let's get started with it. My mouse over there, doing the game. It's such a good story. How are you though, Sam? What did I do? Forget. Oh yes.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
I'm good over here, a bit sick, but ready for the story. Aw, I hope that you feel better. What did she do?
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it.
Why are you over here hopping the fence? Girl? She got a ring on her necklace.
My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Hey, Milton. Yeah, you're gonna slowly find out more about everybody. Over here hopping fences while she's pregnant.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Like, you see this crazy looking house? This is where she lived.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
But why is their mailbox so far away? I never actually realized that until just now. Like, imagine just to get the mail, you gotta go all the way.
Since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Oh. You gotta walk all the way through this just to get to the mail every day? Beautiful, though.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Which way should I go? Should I go the regular path? I can't remember which one I did before. Real past the bridge and then another mile or so. I can't remember which version I went the last time. I'm gonna go down, see what happens. Can I go over here? Oh, I guess not. Oh, I can go over here though. I know I'm going the wrong way on purpose. I just wanted to see if I could grab anything. If I could see anything at all. Oh, this is where all the missing papers, like, ended up going. Okay, now let me go back to where I'm supposed to be before my game decides to break or something. Knowing me, it would do that. Alright. Go on the right way. They're like really out in the wilderness though. It's like, wait, how am I supposed to go? Okay. Like this, oh, there's the path finally. I was like, where is there a path for anything? Okay, I'm assuming I go this way.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
It is pretty quiet though over here. Alright, we finally made it to the house. Is there anything up here that I could have seen? I don't want to miss any story beats, like low-key. I'm just like, what else is there? I don't want to pick a path.
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Probably went the wrong way. I'm gonna go down anyway. Let's just go. Before it triggers another thing out of order. Alright, well, it looks like it could have been a nice house.
The house was exactly like I remembered it. The way I'd been dreaming about it.
Like, look at this. It could have been a nice house if there wasn't all these extra rooms. Is that a dragon?
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband. I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
Oh, there's a chair. All the missing posters everywhere. They're her brother. The atmosphere is there. I'm kind of spooked, to be honest. So
As a
cinematic.
child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Yeah, it's a very cinematic game. It like used to spook me the first
Now,
time.
as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Oh, she was only 17. I didn't remember that part. thought she was older by now. Okay.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Alright. Let's go find the other entrance. It's just everything is overgrown. It's like so wild, but so beautiful and mysterious at the same time.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Oh.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Well, everything looks normal for now. We should be able to get through this, by the way, all today. I think it was only like about two hours.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
There's so many bottles of wine. And literally just piles of dishes. Wow.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
A whole lot of memories.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
I wouldn't want to, like, deliver to them either with how far away it is. Anything on the table? Oh.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Just plates sitting there like they were just eating. Oh.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Such a rickety house. She has a whole fingerless knitted glove attached to her sweater. Never seen or thought about that before. Yep, only she could do that. Alright, let's go through here first.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
I mean, it's a pretty house, though. That's the thing. It's just has a whole bunch of other stuff in it.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Anything I can see up here? It's a bunch of boxes. I have a nice TV, though. Okay. So many books. I really forgot just how many books are in this house.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Come out. I don't know what I'm doing. What else could I do? This is just a closet. Oh wait, there's something.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
It's probably why there's so many posters everywhere.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
That's a nice thing to tell a child. Like when they go into their library inside of their house. Oh, look at all these pictures though. I wonder if like the people that made the game just like put their own family
After Milton
pictures.
disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
It's supposed to go this way?
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Okay. Let's leave that.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Yeah, that's definitely normal. And you'd help me out, Sam, and just delete that message. A little spam.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Thank you. Which one is it? Oh, this one's open.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
There's nothing in here. Like, what was there to seal? There's literally nothing in here. Alright.
Louis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Ah, that's the one for it.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Oh, this goes up.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Oh, okay, Milton. Seems like a lot of people have been here before. Like someone was just sitting here having tea. Oh, that was probably all Milton, actually. Maybe he did run away. Maybe he did.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Imagine the only way you can navigate through a house
Just
is
like
through
I had no idea where all this was gonna
passages. It should switch to theater mode. Wait, that's actually dope.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Oh, that's adorable, actually. She had a pretty cute...
Inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
What a pretty cute room. Look at this little bed. I wish I had a bed like this. A little cutie. Oh, wait, let me look in here. Can I go inside of there? No. Is there anything else I can look at before I go into the story? I guess not. Okay. Let's do it. Hope y'all ready for what this whole game is.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Come on, mommy, just give me some food.
I kept eating and eating.
Look at her hands, by the way. Ugh. When does her mama ever clean her sink, first of all? Because her bathroom looked real dirty.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Oof. Aren't, like, hollies poisonous or something?
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
Or mistletoe or whatever.
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her.
Hope you're ready.
And suddenly, I was a cat. I
Ooh,
tried
you're
to be quick,
fast.
but the bird was really scared.
The heck are you, birdie? Where'd he go? Let me just see if I can go. Oh, there we go. Oh, there is the birdie. Come on, birdie, birdie, birdie. Even though I'm a cat, which is making sense.
I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
Where is she? Oh, there it goes. Oop. Can I get up again? There we go.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Where is the birdie? I can't even see where he is. Oh, he's up there. She's gotta be hallucinating or something.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
What am I looking for, Missy? I don't even know what I'm supposed to see. Oh, there they go. Ha! Gotcha. This poor rabbit.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I
Swallowed him whole.
something bigger.
What else is bigger than the rabbit that you can eat whole? Wait, where is it?
A mama rabbit.
Oh, mama rabbit. Oh, there it goes. Come on.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
I'm gonna talk after the sequence is done, Sam. What's this? Come on, you can make it. Come on. Eh. You know, this shark should have been dead already.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Oh, there they go. This control's a little weird. Oh, a little bit. Big old nose in the way. Come on! Is it seal?
Grabbed on tight. I was so dizzy, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Now I'm a sea monster.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Oh, there's a person. This poor
I
sailor.
was big, but I moved real quiet. I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
What else? Is there anything on this side? I'm gonna go straight in. Somebody's drunk. The way the radio just is getting louder and louder through this.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. To cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer. All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
So basically, what I've gathered from it, because I'm gonna let you guys like see each one before I say, Edie sent Molly to bed with no dinner. And I don't know if you noticed, but I think Molly was sick because her hands had a whole bunch of spots on it, as if she was like sick and ill and stuff. And she ate a old rotten carrot from her gerbil's cage, she ate toothpaste. Yeah. And she ate the what are those, hollies? Hollies from the plant on her window. And I feel like either she died from like poison, like she poisoned herself, or she could have fallen out of the window as well. But that part wouldn't make sense because technically she should have still been in her bed to finish the story. So I think maybe she ate all that stuff, went into a dream because she was sick. And you know how sometimes when you eat really bad food, you can have nightmares and stuff? And she woke up dead. That's what I'm thinking so far. At least that's for what I believe. Because think about all the things that she ate. She was sick. That's why she died so
I got
young.
the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Yeah. Like, so that's what I think that sequence is about. So for anybody who doesn't know what this game is about, you're learning about every person in her family through their deaths. So that's what you're going to get to what you're going to see is everybody's death sequence to be able to kind of try to understand who they were and piece things together.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Oh, interesting. Now I think I'm getting it. Yeah, so every story is a little abstract,
We got
but
along, and it was a
there's
good place
truths.
to hide from my mom.
If you can find it.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
That is a gigantic house to put on a boat.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Right?
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
All of these books. Like, how do you even own enough books to fill this house the way that she does? I'm just gonna say one thing. You guys should try to, like, pay attention to everything in this room because there's a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna tell you guys because I don't want to mess y'all up, but, you know. There's a lot of stuff in this house, in this room.
Lewis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Great-Grandma had always been the family's biggest fan.
A little too much of a fan, probably.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Oh, this really Edith Jr. lake trip. Sam Photo Award, Conspiracy Now, Weird America, The Finches, Home Movie, Sam Medal Ceremony, My Friend Bigfoot, Edith Interview, Random Junk.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
72-year-old woman refuses to evacuate because of a little forest fire. There's so much spunk. This lady.
He told people Sven was killed by a dragon. She could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
That's the slide that we saw when we first came to the house. See? There it goes. Tragedy strikes Finch family. Celebration turns to mourning, probably.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Yeah, and that's Edith next to her, the little girl, and I think that's her mom.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom.
It was a pretty big trace.
Can I go through here? No? Oh. Oh, there's we go. There's a secret in this bathroom. Revisions! Hey, we're doing a little story time. Is this a horror? No, it's not horror, but it is eerie. So, it's like ghost stories if you think about it like that. In a way.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Edie loved secret passageways, obviously. Calvin Finch, born April 25th, 1950, died September 23rd, 1961.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Oh, now this is a sad game. Yep, I've played it before, but I'm playing it because I loved it, and for anybody who hasn't, so feel free to sit back and enjoy. Oh, look, more Milton drawings. Milton has been all over this house, even though he's supposedly, like, kidnapped. Well, not kidnapped, but lost. Alright. Oh, this is the brothers that we peeked into before.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
This is a cool room, though. Must have been nice. Anything on this side? No. I think it's only over here. But how are you doing, revisions?
And that he never talked about him.
To command center.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
You already got a broken leg, broken foot. What was it? Oh yeah, I gotta use both feet.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again.
I'm controlling him, by the way.
I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm
You're on the right track, Sam.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want
Almost
to remember
there.
about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, almost everything that looks like a cutscene, I'm still controlling stuff while she talks. So it's like interactive. But Loki, Edie is just a very bad mom. Like, or like, yeah, like Edie's just really bad as a mom and a grandma. Cause like, why is everybody so injured?
Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
And why keep this side of the room for the other brother to have to look at all the time? Like, imagine your brother died when they were only like 7 years old. And then instead of your mom saying, okay, we're gonna, put you in a new room, you just rope off the other side of the room and say, okay, there you go. You can look at your memorialized brother's room while still in your room. Like, it's crazy. Man, he's going up in the air right near that wooden fence. Yeah, and then the fence is not good. Like, there's just a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna go into some things when I finish, though, because I don't want to, like, go too in depth while I do it. But,
Mom said
yeah.
Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
I wouldn't want to either. You had to live until you were 18 in this room? I wouldn't want to be in here. Oh, I thought that was Buzz Lightyear for a second. I was like, what? Here we go. Her in these doors, man. The room in this house are kind of tight, even all the secret areas. It's just weird because everybody is dead. Like,
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
why is there so much wine everywhere? Go on, open it. I mean, we're still gonna go in there in a minute.
Edie's father Odin built the original house.
Well, that's good old Odin. Anything else that we can see?
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
My friend Bigfoot. Barbara Finch was a celebrity. Alright, let's go back in, because I think her room is next anyway. Can you peek through?
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Like a lot of child stars, it seems like. Oh, the rooms in this house are kind of tight. Okay. Yeah, so... You missed only a few people, I believe. Come on, get on out.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Well, that's probably all she had to know of. She didn't. No, I don't think she died as a little girl. But those are some big big outfits. Oh, look at all the shows that she's done. I'm assuming those are all
I never
shows
thought
she's
about
done.
how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Yeah, to be a child star, then go back to normal. Just go back to your regular old life. You know, Barbie was cute. Little cute teenager.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been.
Only at
In
16.
a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room.
Oh man, Sven.
Got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Poor Barbara.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks.
Sven really did have the worst luck.
Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Ooh, back to controlling. Well, there's his crutch.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Oh.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman Killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Why do they just have these things in the basement? Oh, this is where Sven cut himself. How is there not a hand? He really hurt himself. There's a lot of blood. Can't even see nothing. Oh, there you go. That's where we're supposed to go.
The old Finch rattled and grew still.
He just hit his boyfriend in the nose.
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now...
Rick is a jerk. He's annoying.
confused and
Yeah, you go, Barbara.
But she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
We're back. What was that? Oh, it's cool. Dun, 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 dun. Why did I just jump just now? It was like just scratching my head and all of a sudden something fell. It's like, whoop.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Oh.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Where am I supposed to go?
There's gotta be another way out of here.
Oh. Can I go up there?
That night, she played her part beautifully.
Oh, now, oh yeah, because that's the thing from the house.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Oh, I can go down. I'd be running out of that house. Oh.
Had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Uh-oh.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh.
Oh dear.
How'd they all just get inside?
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
That's corny.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Hey, Lenny. Michael Myers really used this song, so we're gonna ignore the fact that Judah flipped over the railing. It wasn't hurt. Honestly, I mean, I think that basically all that happened was that her boyfriend probably killed her or something. Like, I feel like it was either her boyfriend killed her or maybe, like, somebody got broke in and killed her too, but I think that's what it is. What did I just bang into? Oh, okay. But how are you doing, Lenny? Fairy Tales from the Crypt. Yeah.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
This is also why I stopped playing with it, because I wasn't sure if it was going to do it or not. And I didn't want to, you know, accidentally spoil anything, because you can, in fact, do it and just keep on turning. And there's the key. That's why I said every story has truth in it. You just have to find what the truth is within each story. They all sound crazy, but there's truth. Okay. Yep. This is the basement we saw. And there goes the saw that Sven hurt himself on. Oh, and this is where she paints every portrait of every single deceased relative.
The basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
A lot of wood. I need more explanation than that story. All we found was her ear. A whole family dead randomly. Not randomly. Like, I'm gonna talk more like after the game is done.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
Oh.
Turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
All right. Oh, wait, there it goes. Come on. Oh, there we go.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone.
So who's the character you're playing? We're playing Edith Finch. Technically Edie Jr. because she was named after her great-grandmother. So the Edie you always hear her talking about is her great-grandma. But her name is Edith. So she's one of the lower ends of the family tree.
She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
She basically went back to her family house to kind of like uncover all the secrets because her mom didn't like Edie always trying to tell them all of these curses because they believe they're cursed. Edie, you'll find out more like as the story goes, but that's what we've uncovered so far.
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Sure haven't. Walter, 1952 to 2005.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
By the way, Walter is Barbara's little brother that you saw in the last story.
But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow.
76.
But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other
Malnourished.
side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
He looks malnourished like how Molly did. Because if you look at his skin is kind of spotty.
And then one day, everything just
2005.
stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Hell, if all my family died mysteriously, I'd believe my family cursed too. 30 years isolated. Yep.
I know it's out there somewhere.
I'd stay my ass in the house isolated, but then again, that wouldn't make me safe.
Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
And that's Walter.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
So if you remember, now Thomas took him out, Lenny. I'm so mad at you. But if you remember, in Edie's room, we saw newspaper articles of a mole man living in their basement. And that's who they were talking about. They were talking about Walter. Walter was so terrified and scarred after Barbara's death and from this curse that he disappeared and lived in the base underneath the basement for the rest of his life. Like, he's literally an old man. And Edie always knew and never told anybody. Like, she never told anyone.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
He had a painting here just so he could feel like he was looking at the outside world. That's just sad. With like a lamp and everything. Knowing Edie's crazy self, she probably helped him make this when you think about it. Because Edie is so like into making shrines. Just to come outside and die within the first 20 seconds. Yep. Especially when you were so... Come on, do it. Open it up. Especially when you were already, like, so ready to be out. He was trying to breathe that fresh air. That's why he died. He's been gone so long, he forgot how railroads work. Because if you think about it, that was his...
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
Go down. Go down. You can't go in there? Okay. I thought that I could go down there. Come on. Come on, girly. Gonna go down the thingy. You can't go down there? I thought you could. You can go down there. I know you can. Come on. Come on, controls. Let's work for Vanessa today. There we go. I guess it's inverted. I'm gonna have to fix that. Well, that was weird just now.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house...
Yeah, girl.
I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Probably a lot.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem.
Huh?
Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
And there goes this shrine that she made. Me post-corona. The way I'd never do this, I'd be like, dang, my family dead. That's sad. Anyways. But yeah, that's part of what the problem is Edie is obsessed with the curse. It's hard to not believe something's true
Be writing this.
if it's an obsession.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Does this girl die at the end of the game?
I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
We're not swimming, don't worry. What happened to the tracks they led to the sea? Knowing Edie, she probably got them destroyed or something.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Yeah, for all we know, though, Walter could have... The train tracks could have been going through, like, construction, and that's why Walter didn't hear the rumble for a full week. And that's why he came out and didn't realize that the train was still coming. Edie was out there with sticks of dynamite after Walter died.
Look at the house. That history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. Any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Exactly. It's just weird.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Alright, well, these are Zerpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy, and Derpy Jr. Old egg. Got some weird names in here. At least with the gerbils.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Of course Edie would design the cemetery. Molly Finch is a kitten angel. Calvin, who was a space guy who flew. Finn died from the dragon, building the dragon. Edie Finch And think about it too. I want you guys to think about the fact that Edie, of everybody, lived the longest, but was the most obsessed with death. I just want you guys to remember that. Edie is the great-grandmother. She didn't die until 2010. Everybody else died very early in their lives. But she died the latest. He was building a dragon-shaped slide. But Edie always told everybody that he got eaten by a dragon. Or killed by a dragon.
Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
And that's Edie and Spin riding off to safety. And that's Odin, her father, who sank with their house when they came here from Norway. So that's... And Molly also in there. That's her child. Yeah, so that's Odin.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Can we see it? Whoop. No, I didn't want to go back. I want to see if I can see it clearer. Well, guess not, but it's the house. Hey, Odin the Norse, king of Norse gods. Odin is Edie's father. So is this character the last of her family? Yes, Edith, the one talking, is the last one.
It's easier for me to understand.
Possibly. Because Milton, her younger brother, is missing. So she may be the last one.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Mm. Oh yeah, I know. I thought you were asking who Odin was for a second. And Sanjay is Edith's dad. Which is why if you ever see pictures of Edith or Lewis,
her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
they look a little Indian because her dad was Indian.
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
Imagine you have this big of a
There's
cemetery.
so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, in case y'all didn't know, this girl is pregnant, doing all of this stuff. Like, if you look down at her stomach, I'll look down in a second so that you can see. She pregnant. Yep, that's why I said what I said at the very beginning. She pregnant. If you look at her tummy, it sticks out a little bit. She's doing all of this stuff. So I'm going to say some things at the
I
end.
never met Grandpa, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
And she's 17, by the way. Because I didn't realize she was only 17 the first time I played for some reason. Is there anything else to look at first? Before I... Look at all the photos. Oh, he's in the military. Oh, it's K. An airline ticket. She's over there crawling through trenches, pregnant by who? Somebody. Who knows?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot
Oopsie. That's my fault.
anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Shouldn't we be leaving?
Just want to get a shot of you, Dawn, then we can take off.
How do I get
What?
it clear? Stop doing that. Just want to get a clear shot. Do I get the focus? I don't know if it's gonna ever focus. There we go. Over here pressing every button under the sun.
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it?
Oh, there you go.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
That's our mom, by the way.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Can I get a picture of you, Birdie?
Aw.
Nice.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Who else can I look at?
Definitely should.
Oh, there you go.
Hold still up.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
Pinned.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm be-
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Where are you? Where am I looking? Oh, there you go.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up, elbows down, like we practiced. Whenever you're ready. Great shot, Dawn!
Oh, she's crying.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Oh.
Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Oh, it's too slow. That was me. Come on, run! Sam, run! Don't get trapped by the rocks, please.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's...
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Yep. Her dad took her hunting and he died. Hunting 101, never ever approach a kill until you're Sure, it's dead. Yep, pretty much.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
I'm not gonna say what I want to say. But I'd be scared if I ran into this family. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Not the Mohawk. I'd be so pissed. Ain't Dawn the sister that died? No, Dawn isn't the sister that died. Dawn is her mom. Dawn's her mother. Or at least the character we're playing's mom.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
You deserved it. Alright. I hope you're all ready for this one.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Why is it not doing it? There we go. So it's like, how are you gonna let go of it?
Time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello?
How are you gonna close the glass with the baby in there?
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. You reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
Whee!
Whatever it was he saw. It sure made him happy. I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Yeah, put that facing down. I think you guys all know what happened. Parents stupid back then. Yeah, basically, Sam was trying to. They got divorced. Sam's trying to tell Kay, if you saw there was a box before that we found all our her stuff, telling Kay that it wasn't her fault, but it was her fault. Let's be honest. It was Kay's fault that Gregory drowned because she closed the glass and left the baby unattended in a bathtub, which you do not do. You don't leave a baby even in like a little bit of water, because they might even just fall back and just have their face in the water for too long and drown. They can drown in this much water, possibly. How'd the water turn on? You probably turned it on because babies, yeah, basically, you could have did anything. Babies are super strong, especially now that I have a nephew. He has the strength of 50,000 men because he doesn't have any fear. So like, he'll be going around trying to if we just let him roam, he'll grab a bottle of bleach if we leave it out and just put the cap in his mouth. Like, they just do it. They do that type of stuff. So you have to stay, like, attentive and make sure that you don't let them do stuff.
My mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
There's something else that I'm not seeing. Oh, I thought there was going to be another blurb. There goes Mohawk Boy. Final destination be like a poem for Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. Father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Okay, so Gus was mad. Wait, where's the other words at? Oh, there we go. It's like, where is it?
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh, there it goes. There's more up here.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
They really just let this little boy stay out here in a storm.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
You can do strictly with him.
But Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
My mom would have snatched me by my skin. No, when everyone died in their family, the parents didn't take care of their kids. Exactly. That's what it is. They're very negligent. All of them. But it starts with Edie. Edie started it off. Because she was negligent with Molly by sending her to bed with no dinner. and then wondered why Molly died when she was literally starving, she was sick, and then she ended up eating a bunch of rotten food and toothpaste and poison berries inside of her room because Edie didn't feed her. Like, they get it from their great-grandmother. Go up here?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Imagine having to go up a rock climbing wall. I mean, it would be cool, but imagine having to
It
do
was as
this
far away as she could get.
every single time you want to go up to your room. A pretty cute room, though, I'm not gonna lie. I would like it. But still, having to look down at that every day, just messed up. Yeah, and you see, then that's her dad. So that's how come if you see paintings of Edith and her brothers, they got some color in them because they're mixed.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Fly to India. She's one of those people from 90 Day Fiancé the other way. Look at that. Except I guess it worked in a way for her, at least.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
I mean, this area is cute. It's just they made the house look crazy, and it's so unsafe though when you think about it.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Because instead of just reusing rooms, they built new ones. Where her brothers are dead. Yes, Edith is the only living person of the Finches. She's the last living Finch.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Homeschooled. Edith. Louis rules. Excuse me. Oh, they had more gerbils over here. Well, she did say she had 3 gerbils.
But it didn't last.
Ooh.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
How you just you're gonna see, and I'm gonna say something after you see. I mean, I wish I had a little studio like this. I'm not gonna lie. And it's Milton. The magic
Milton
paintbrush.
Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
So basically, and I'm going to look this up very quickly for you guys because this one is the one that usually would always trips everybody up. Hey, Mariah! Is, what's the name of their other ones? Great Sparrow. stars. Or was it Giant Sparrow? Giant Sparrow games. Because yes. So basically it's an Easter egg in a way, because Milton's story kind of doesn't relate but does. Thank you so much for following, by the way, Nintendo guy. Because his story, he's supposed to be an Easter egg to the other game by Giant Sparrow, which was called The Unfinished Swan. And basically Milton found a magic paintbrush and made the door that you saw in the room downstairs and went to another world, pretty much. And in that world,
disappeared.
And in that world, he's the king. And he basically drew his own city with his magic paintbrush. So that's how come his thing looks doesn't make as much sense compared to everything else, and why there's so much black, white, and gold, because the whole world is pretty much in like white, and you have to use your own magic paintbrush to basically fill the world with color so that you can know what's happening. And there's a lot of puzzles and things like that. So yeah, just to let you guys know that you're gonna be confused because it's an Easter egg.
Searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
It's also why he's drawn like that, because that's the style of the game that they had. This is probably one of my favorite games. Listen, I played it before and I love it. And I noticed there were some followers that I have that hadn't gotten to play it. So I was like, let's have a story day for October, since it's a little eerie anyway. It's like doing ghost stories. So I love it so much. I'm going to probably talk about it at the end. I've watched so many videos on this game. Probably too many.
Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Alright. And we're about to come up on my favorite story, which is also one of the saddest stories, so. To me, at least.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Mm-hmm. The heck am I supposed to get up there? I forget. I think it's on this side. Yeah. I mean, they really went all out for all of their rooms, like, if we're being honest.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar.
Smelled like weed.
That part of him lived on.
It was a weed head. That's what it was.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
That's high school diploma. Look, he still had a little bit in there. So, but she did it. This is locker contents. Okay, it's time for this one again. This is one of the best stories to me. It's just sad. To Dawn Finch.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to Wonder. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
I'm controlling both, by the way. And just for anybody who doesn't realize it.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
It's like trying to...
On the edge of a city named Lewis Topia.
Keep doing the fish, too.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
I'm gonna look at the chat in a minute, by the way.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Ooh, Louisville. Oh.
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Come on, Queenie, where you at?
The queen was on her own quest for
Do some sinister serpents.
Sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Come on, Fishy, get off the screen. I want to see everything.
He was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. We began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
He's not even moving anything anymore. He's just so stuck in his head. He's just doing the motions.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
Look, there's Molly the cat.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
This is why I say Lewis's story is the best story in the entire game. but the absolute saddest. Like, the absolute saddest. Let me just scroll up real quick to see what everybody wrote. His hand's gonna go in. Yeah, I thought that his hand was gonna go in at first too when the first time that I played this. You're so very, very close. It kind of scared again. This was probably one of the most brutal stories. It is the most brutal stories. He's thinking about that escape. Then when his looks GameStop and got guitar. What? He went pro. Hey Day Day, how are you doing? I feel like something big just happened, but I've missed 2 hours, so I'm gonna just enjoy the visuals. Yeah, to me, I think his thing hit the hardest because I feel like even when I was playing this game the very first time, I even went through a time period with like my characters and stuff where I was just so into my characters. I even reached the point where I was like, yo, imagining my character's life is so much better than mine. Like, and I was just like, why can't I just be them? And I had to actively tell myself, you know, Vanessa, you have to actively make sure you spend time in like the real world and make your life worth living, because you can so easily slip into that if you don't trust yourself, if you don't like really be careful. It's so easy. But his is the best one. It's just so sad. And it's so sad. And you could even see how his whole, like, his imagination was making him slip, because it started out small with little things, and then slowly he started having to do corners, and then slowly he had more detail and it picked up more of the screen. Then he started having to do choices, and it was 3D. It filled up the whole thing. And it just was a lot. Imagine coming to work and your coworker's head on the floor. It's messed up.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
Am I supposed to go down? I'm assuming so. Wait, what's over here? Am I supposed to go over here? No, I don't think so. I'm supposed to go down, supposedly. Or am I not? Where am I supposed to go, sis?
I'm not sure if she wanted to
I'm
make it
supposed to go
easier or
up.
harder.
That's stupid. Went down too much.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Imagine you just live in a treehouse, though. Like, that's where they technically live.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
I would too if I was Dawn. After everything she's gone through in her life,
What
I'd
happened
believe
that
it.
night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
Says story, one of my mama's friend's sons worked construction. One of them big as heavy poles fell on his head and rolled on his chest. And then you can imagine the sight that made. Oh my god. That's just crazy. Oh, there we go.
But it had to end one way or another.
Now we're in Edie's
All
room.
now is to tell you about that last night.
Edith's room, I mean. Ever think about these game developers and just wonder what goes on in their head to make something like this? Honestly.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd handle seeing something that traumatic either. But yeah, Data, you basically, unfortunately, missed the whole game. Almost. We're towards the end now. This is a short game. It's not very long.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Oh, you're leaving things open for a reason.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Yep. So basically, I think only Sam got to see it from the very beginning. But if you remember on the boat, when we opened up the book, there was a cast. That was the son. She was always dead. So basically, it was the son going back to put flowers on his mother's grave because she died during childbirth. Yeah, so this basically the game. Pretty much though, if you think about it, this whole entire game is about neglect. Because in a way, Edie, the great-grandmother, started it out. Like how they were going to finish it. Like I think, and I've watched a lot of videos too, and if Nintendo guy is here, then he can also speak on it. But basically, a lot of people, and even myself whenever I was playing it, like, I feel like if Edie didn't believe in the curse, then she decided to believe in it after they got to America, because there's no reason that she had to technically be so gung-ho on making a cemetery on the lot before fully finishing the house. The cemetery was the first thing that they created. So Edie kind of blamed she blamed the curse, the family curse, when really it was just that she was a neglectful and bad parent. Because Molly died because Molly was sent to bed with no dinner by Edie. Edie sent her child to bed with absolutely no dinner, even though the child kept knocking on the door, and she locked her in the room too, by the way. So it wasn't even like she just closed the door and was like, you gotta stay here, stay in bed. She locked her daughter in the room with no dinner. The daughter had the spots and stuff on her skin, which I'm starting to think is from like them being sick, because she ate a spoiled carrot from the gerbil cage. She ate toothpaste, and then she ate either mistletoe or holly, whatever the little things were that are on like the Christmas type plant. She ate those, so she probably poisoned herself accidentally, which was Edie's fault. But instead of having to deal with the repercussions, she blamed the curse. Her husband was neglectful because he was building a dragon slide, and he was killed while building it, which was neglect because he shouldn't have been so careless. Then, which was the other one? I want to see all of them. And then after that, you had Sam, who was neglectful with almost every single child because he died from his own neglect by deciding to not check the deer before going to take a picture. because he let his daughter go up there. Could have been Dawn that died, if you think about it. But he didn't check to make sure the deer was dead. And then he got kicked off of it. His brother, which was Calvin, the one that used to have the space outfit, who wanted to fly, that was also neglect because Edie did not. First of all, they had no real fence around the house. The fence was super, super short by a swing, which was by a cliff. And that son already had cuts and band-aids and a whole cast on his entire leg, on his foot, which showed that he was already being reckless. And then he went and spun around the thing, around the swing, and went off the edge. So then you have that. Then after that child, with Sam, you had Gregory, who was neglected as a child inside of the bathtub because his mother let him drown. He didn't pay attention. Oh, there's Dawn, Lewis, and Edie and Edith. That's all the people. It was a really good game. So you have that one. Then you also still have Sam again. Did not make sure. Yeah, there we go. There's all the people. So you had Edie, who of everybody survived off of the curses. You had Molly, who was neglected. You have Barbara, who I think was also technically neglected because they probably didn't have proper safeties in the house. But she was killed, I think, by either her boyfriend or maybe by Rob or something. Calvin, who died on the swing. Sam, who died by the deer. Walter, who was so fed up with Edie's stories and craziness, and after seeing the deaths of Barbara and finding out about the death of Molly and the death of Calvin, retreated to the very, very basement of their house to escape it, and lived off of eating peaches. And the one time he decides to come out, if you think about it, he didn't even come out the safe way, because he could have came out where he went back into the house. But he decided to stay away from Edie so much, he just went out completely away. And then he gets hit by a train. And you have Gus, who was neglected by Sam because he was at a wedding, and Sam was just like, stop having a fit and let his son stay out during a storm, where he then got engulfed by the storm and was probably thrown about by all of the different debris and things. Dawn died of sickness, but then Lewis also died from having to know about all of these stories. And it's almost like, in a way, Edie made sure that every single person died too, because of the way that she raised everybody. Edie was already neglectful, and Edie was already careless. But because she blamed the curse, it made everybody else blame the curse too and say, well, you've got to live for today because you may die tomorrow because there's a curse. When really, they could have not died if they just kept themselves safe and they weren't so careless. Almost every single thing in their lives happened because of carelessness and neglect, when you think about it. All because they blamed these stories. But it's very hard not to blame these stories when you have somebody like Edie who lives off of it. Like, she made herself famous off of these stories when you think about it. Because she painted portraits for every single person that died. She never got rid of the rooms that the people were died in. She made them basically memorials. She did interviews. She did so much stuff all about this curse, and she refused to let these things go when she didn't have to keep all of these rooms the way that she did. Any reasonable person would have just, gotten rid of some of these rooms and not made a monstrosity of a house. Imagine this being based on a true story. I like how they're showing all the people who worked on the game as children, right? Saying this is really dope end credit scene. This game was absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna have to watch a playthrough to this. This sounds very intense. It is very intense. It's also one of those games to me where, Data, if you could play it, I feel like it hits even more when you play it. Because a lot of the stories, which you guys might not have realized, but every single story that you play through, you're actually controlling everything. So like, that scene with Lewis, where I had with the cannery, I'm controlling both the fish. So I'm doing the fish, and I'm also controlling his little imaginative version of himself the whole time. He got bit by Thomas. See, if they had a Black, Hispanic, or Indian mama, none of this would have happened. Well, their Indian daddy died in India, but it was really just Edie's fault. Cause think about it, Dawn wanted to get away from the stories. That's the reason why Dawn and Edie had such a hard time together, because Dawn felt like it was the stories themselves that were the problem. The stories themselves was the things that were basically killing everybody, because it was this thing that was making everybody just believe that this is going to happen when it didn't have to. Just like Edie, when you think about it, Edie was also very reckless and careless too, because even though she was only 17 probably when she died, she was careless, because who at 22 weeks pregnant is running and jumping and crawling through tiny little holes and walking across tree branches, going up ladders, going up tree houses and all the stuff? She is super neglectful too. She's lucky she didn't die while going through the house. She could have very easily fell to her death at any moment during this entire game, but she didn't. And it just shows that every single Finch in this timeline was just extremely careless and extremely neglectful, but just blamed it on this curse that's been following them, when it's really their own fault in a way. The absolute only one whose like story is kind of like weird is Milton's, because it's basically just a crossover, like an Easter egg from their other game, The Unfinished Swan, which I watched a playthrough of. It was kind of cool, but it's definitely not this game. So is Edith destined to this kind of fate? Edith died in childbirth. So that's how come if you at the end you saw that it was really a child that was putting flowers on Edith's grave, because Edith passed away. So Edith is no longer actually the last Finch. Who knows? Because part of the reason why Edith made the journal was so that hopefully her son wouldn't go down that path. All right, I'm gonna go play some Cold War. This was a nice stream. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much for watching it with us, revisions. It's definitely fun. I'm gonna probably rate somebody in a few minutes, because that was something. Watch somebody play something a little fun, so it's not so sad. We'll go to Blaze Blues in a minute. But yeah, that was Edith. We'll catch you next time. Makes sense. I wonder if his arm in the cast foreshadows anything. In a way, it could. It's like, in a way, it's already started, because he's already being reckless as well. Because he already broke his arm. you know what I mean? Like, maybe every Finch, who knows, maybe it is a curse. Or maybe it isn't. Or maybe now that he'll know all of this stuff, now maybe he'll be able to not be cursed by it. Like, who knows? Like, it's just so... It's so crazy when you really, like, think about it all. But it's such a good story. It's, like... It's a really good story. I definitely recommend it to anybody. Even the people who've watched it. Like, if you wanted to still replay it, it's still... To me, replaying it the second time, I still feel almost the same things that I felt the first time, maybe even more, because when you replay, you get to see everything in the house before it's even unveiled to you. You already kind of know what's about to happen, and you could find more things. But like for Lewis's thing, still hits hard. Like even the second time, it still hits. Same thing with Molly's. Molly still hits hard. So also, I don't know if y'all are into ghost stories, but The Haunting of Bly Manor just dropped. Great story. Okay, I'll see. The Haunting of Hill House is something worth watching too. Okay, I remember you mentioning that in the Discord. Alright, so I think you guys have heard me ramble enough though. So we are going to do a raid. We're gonna go in there and raid some people. Gonna raid somebody. Let me get this set up so that we can do it. We're gonna gonna watch some Splatoon and do that today. Alright, but yeah, go in there, show her some love. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the game with me. It was super, super awesome. I always love it and definitely play it. But I'm gonna say this. Have a good night and thanks for watching. So let's go into there.